Okay, we are live. We are live.
Hi.
The little red light has come on and we are there. We're present. We're making contact from all over the world to you. Here we've got a representative from Canada, from Ireland, from Israel, and from America too, with somebody else who may show his little face at some point or another, maybe. Wishing you, hope you're well wherever you are. Obviously, we've just been speaking about the news cycle.
I think I might have just got corona, but we'll find out as the evening goes on.
Oh no!
Right? Yeah. My wife had corona for all week, right? And it started last Saturday night. She felt like kind of aching.
I've had it 4 times.
Yeah, and so aching tired, and by the next day she felt really, really bad. So I just started feeling achy tonight. So let's see where this goes. And
we hope you don't get.
Did you take a test live on the
If I had one here, I'll totally do it. Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Well, I hope you don't get stretchered off, Rabbi. That would be most unfortunate. Stretchered off. Stretchered
off. You cried. Well, I don't know. I've seen some movies where that happens. It could actually work out quite fun.
So, although we are live, we're not live. This isn't the show. It's kind of the show, but it's not really the show. So we were just talking a little bit about the news cycle before we came on, everyone, and just hoping that anybody out there who may be on the West Coast, hope you're safe and well, and you and yours are safe. And obviously, our thoughts are with everybody who's been affected by everything that's happened in that part of America. It's been, we've just been talking about some of the pictures, some of the footage that's coming out from there, and it's obviously very upsetting. So we're thinking of everybody who's there. Yes.
The same thing happened in Hawaii like a year before, didn't it? For the same reason,
yes.
Like completeness.
Yes.
And Trump so called it happening. What, a month ago? 2 months? No, a month before this? No, is that on the Joe Rogan thing?
Yeah. Well, this happened in Canada about 9 years ago.
Said what would happen, and it happened.
We had this on a smaller scale. The city of Fort McMurray in Alberta back in 2016. Same thing. The entire city, city of about 80,000, had to be abandoned. And I've been there. I didn't like it before this, but yeah, it was the entire city was abandoned. Whole neighborhoods were just scorched. There's a video that's still on YouTube where they allowed the probably about 10 days after it had been abandoned, right after they finally got the fire under control, completely abandoned city. They let news crews go in and take a tour. The videos are still on YouTube. They are some of the eeriest things you'll ever see. It's like from a post-apocalyptic movie. But I don't think anybody's seen something like this.
And of course, the things like this brings out, the best in humanity and the worst in humanity. Those those amazing firefighters that have been out there for 5 days straight. But all the neighbors, coming together, and contributing donations and helping the pets and making sure the pets are okay and all that. But of course, what do we have last night? We have to have curfews now because all the looters are out now on scooters. They call them scooter looters. They're all on those little self-propelled bikes, and they're going into the neighborhoods, especially like Brentwood, which is kind of high end. Mm-hmm. And when people evacuate, they're scoping out the houses to go in and ransack the houses after the residents evacuate. So there you go.
Also, there's been social media influencers as well going to the sites as well. Social media influencers going and taking video and footage of the devastation as well in LA. I mean, that's disgusting. Give the people time to mourn. There's people at the losing everything.
It's worse.
And I've seen on social media as well, people slagging off these rich celebrities because their houses have burned down. I don't care whether you like them or not. I don't like Mark Hamill, but Mark Hamill's house was burned down. That's devastating. I lost an apartment in the flood.
I'm sorry. I want to giggle when I hear that because it just annoyed me so much. And I mean, but I do. I want to giggle when I hear Mark Hamill's house burnt down. I do.
Yeah. Looking at, as you say, brings out the best and the worst. I did see some film of a gentleman who was reunited with his dog, who he believed he'd taken it for as read that his pet had perished, and to see these pictures and this footage of him with his dog again, as you said, Gary, it's there's no upside to any of this. But
it's time to institute the judges. Like from Judge Dredd. That's what you need.
You need martial law is what you
need. Gary, you'd know. How does something like that happen, though? I mean...
Well, Noel, I'll tell you, I mean, I think the investigation of some of the, because there's been so many, there's been like half a dozen major fires so far, including the one that a couple nights ago that popped up right above Hollywood Boulevard and was like literally about a half a mile, quarter of a mile from Hollywood Boulevard, but they descended on it and got it out in time. But a couple of nights ago, there were, one was arson because, these residents noticed this. These residents made a citizen's arrest of this homeless guy who was walking around with a blowtorch, and some people saw him trying to.
It's Mega City 1.
People saw him setting fire to some stuff, and they stopped him, made a citizen's arrest. But of course, this being California, they decided to let the guy go because there wasn't sufficient evidence to prove that. As if him walking around with a flamethrower isn't sufficient evidence.
Yeah, that should be probable cause right there. That'd be probable cause in the UK and Ireland, but not in America.
But in answer to your question, there's only one so far which they are treating as arson. The rest,
right?
You know,
the reasons they can't put it out though is pure incompetence. Like I've been watching the news come up, and it's like that up here. But we do have forest fires, but we don't have all the like I'd never live in LA just because the earthquakes and other dangers there, even tsunamis and so forth. Like they're not prepared at all. They shifted all their money to DEI programs.
Yeah.
Oh,
and all three people in charge are lesbians called Kristen.
Christina.
Yes,
it's not the same lesbians, just three individuals.
The three people,
I don't know about that, Dan. Maybe it might
be. All lesbians, all in charge, and they
all diversity hires again.
Programming.
So it's kind of like in the DC Comics universe where there's three Jokers. There's three.
Yeah, exactly.
Lesbians called Kristen, running everything.
Yeah,
that's extraordinary.
Lesbians called Kristen. They are.
What are the odds?
Maybe it's an alien invasion.
How do you run out of water?
Let us know. Instagram and X at the Spacebook. Is this an alien invasion of Christians from another world who are all same-sex attracted?
All of that drone nonsense as well, though, is a distraction. That drone nonsense is a distraction. There's no aliens coming here. Why would they come here? We're so super unintelligent right now. Why would they get
the drones are getting away the helicopter?
We're a great reality show.
Well, here's an anecdote.
I would watch us.
Well,
you'd watch an Earth reality show if you're an alien.
Really?
What have you got for us, Gary?
Okay.
No, I was just going to. I was just going to say to follow up Noel's point about drones. A little drone anecdote from last night. One of the life-saving those scoopers, that come down and scoop the water and drop them all over the place. One of those had to be grounded because some idiot out there was flying a drone and it impacted with the water dropping thing and caused a hole in the wing. And so now that's can't be.
There's just some idiots out there today. I just don't get it. How did we, 5 years ago, when we were all talking years ago, there was still a little bit of sanity, still a little bit of logic in society.
Human decency.
It's completely gone. It's completely broken. Structure has completely broken. The sense of community is gone.
We were teetering on the edge and screaming, going, "Holy fuck! What's going to happen with you?" Right, and then we went off the edge.
Well, I think
crazy few years.
We may not be able to right many wrongs this evening here at the Spacebook Live, but I think what we can pull off is a couple of hours worth of alien bait, maybe to convince that anybody who's watching up there, out there, do they call it? It's out there rather than up there, isn't it?
It's anybody out there,
that's watching out there, we can sort of bait them, maybe convince them just for a couple of hours that there may be intelligent life here after all.
Do you know what, though? An alien invasion is probably going to be the only way that the human race comes together anyway. It has to be something.
They've moved away, Noel. They don't want anything to do with this. The aliens have gone. They took a look like, no.
Gone.
Yeah, so we beat the aliens.
We're out of here. They're dressing up as furries and everything. We're out of here.
Are we monitoring?
No.
We are.
Is anybody monitoring? Is anybody monitoring the Devil's Tower in Wyoming to see if there's, another landing that's going to be there, like in Close Encounters?
The reason aliens come here is to show other species, to say, look what you could become. We're the great of the universe. Again, it's taken the richest man in the history of creation to make people go, oh, maybe Muslim rape gangs are a bad idea. Right? Literally! It's taken the richest man in all of creation for people to like notice that. That's pretty messed up. Mr. Miyagi agrees.
Yes.
It actually is. The fact that these politicians think that they can't be held accountable for their actions or their failings is beyond me. And it's not just in the UK, but it's happening in Ireland here. It's happening in most European countries. You got these leaders. They're not listening to the people. And look what's happening in LA is definitely a failing of politics as well. So yeah, thankfully the people in America had the common sense during the election to vote in. Now, look, some people still have doubts on Donald Trump, and I think we all have little doubts. But if he goes in and does half of the things that he says he's going to do, this world will be in a much better place moving forward. And that's why I want him to succeed. I really, truly do, because if he doesn't, well, no,
I've got little doubts about. I've got little doubts about pretty much everyone, including, believe it or not, Ray Parker Jr. But generally speaking, I found this man to be virtuous and true.
Mr. Cage, can we have your autograph?
All right. So, you're twins?
No, we're triplets.
Triplets?
Fever.
Psycho, I'm coming! I'm on my way, Japan.
Follow that. Welcome back to the Spacebook. We're not just talking all out there entertainment, but we live stream it to YouTube. YouTube on YouTube. That was where the chew came in. YouTube and Rumble too, here on our 100% real-time live stream on Saturday, January the 11th, 2025. I'm Dan Hadley, Birmingham's king of the geeks. I've got an assortment here of scum and villainy. And yes, so we've got correspondents from all over the world here on the panel this time to work our way through everything that's sort of out there in movies, TV, comics, and wherever else, with a dash of real world current affairs here and there, no doubt, as we make our way through it all. So let's meet the panel. We have Balls, Trek, and Frank. Frank, is that you, Frank?
No. So this is Officer McMeany. If you remember last week, Frank went on a bit of a bender over New Year's and got himself into some trouble. There was a caper, several federal offenses. So unfortunately, Frank has been caught. So Officer McMeany has come in to take over Frank's spot, and he's keeping an eye on you, Dan. He's here on behalf of your government. So once again, hashtag pray for Frank. But in the meantime, Officer McMeany is here to make sure that Dan doesn't get out of line.
Right, so I'll do my best to keep on the right side, officer. I hear a knock at the door several times. They are watching. They are about, like the TV detector man. If you remember him back in the day, they're definitely watching. Who wouldn't be? There's people watching on YouTube and Rumble for a start. Could be anybody. Hello, Starmer. If you're there on Rumble. Yes. So who else have we got? We've got Noel Glynn from the TARDIS Zone and the Noel Zone and the Irish Zone. Basically every kind of zone. He's got a finger in every single one. It's great to have you on the show. No,
everybody's portal.
Happy to have you back on the channel.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a laugh so far. I've enjoyed it so far. I know we've gotten a little bit serious, but I suppose with everything that's going on,
we'll sort of sway in between the serious stuff and the not so serious stuff.
But I did watch the trailers that you sent. I did watch the trailers that you sent me. I already saw the Jason Statham one. So yeah.
We've got some great stuff coming up, everybody.
Yeah.
Here, Jason Statham, of course, the world's, I think he's the second most famous sort of action hero who's follically challenged in the world. After our mate Matt Pott, of course, they're the real. It's very much our answer to Jason Statham, aren't we?
All the way from down under.
Yeah, well, I'm bald down under as well, so.
Oh, for God's sake.
Really? That's kind of a thing to come out and tell everybody in the first few minutes of the show.
I don't want to get caught in a zipper.
Let's put your contact in so you can find Matt on X. People like that sort of thing.
Yeah, if you want pictures, go to X.
Yeah, it looks like when it's put up on the screen like that, it looks like some sort of porno company.
How would it work? Would it be a waxing or would it be a shaving?
Okay.
We're going into details, are we? He wants to know if you're waxing.
It's not approved.
It's a trim.
Comments in the chat: waxing or shaving?
This is how Matt gets ready for a Saturday night out when he's not on the show, of course.
There you go.
It's great to have you back, Matt. Yes, so we are straddling the globe, as I was saying. We've also got the rabbi from another planet here as well. He's still, I'll say vertical. He's still upright in a seated position.
I know. I wouldn't know how to describe it. Anyway, yeah, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to stay somewhat loose. I think I'm
course.
Genuinely getting COVID as we're going, so we'll find out. Right, we'll find
progress
out.
reports as the show.
That chair looks very ergonomic, though.
Yes, it is.
It is a very nice chair.
And believe it or not, Gary Akers has come back. There's one born every minute, Gary. Good to have you back, mate.
Thank you very much. So made my, luckily no smoke yet, but glad to be with all of you today.
Amongst friends. Cap of the week. What is your cap of the week, Gary? Can we have a closer look?
I think it's reversed. It's Batman.
Oh, no, magic. Oh, yeah, I love it. It's the 1966 Batman. The famous TV show with Adam West and Burt Ward.
That's right. That's right.
Wait, what? Okay,
legendary
so
TV show.
Batman. What was it on the West Coast? That Gotham City? Because they were certainly ports there. Remember, they were ports for in the Batman movie. He had the bomb he was running around with. So it must be on the water.
in Los Angeles, though.
So yeah, but like, was it on the West Coast, the East Coast? Where was Gotham in the TV Batman?
Probably Los Angeles, I'm guessing, because everything was in Los Angeles back then.
It was very sun-kissed, as I remember it. Of course, and he had the old shark repellent.
Well, we know it was near the ocean because there was the dock that he ran along holding the bomb.
Right, with bomb, exactly.
Right, the filming locations for the TV series of Batman were in South San Rafael Avenue, Pasadena, California, Bronson Caves, Bronson Canyon, Griffith Park, and Crystal Springs Drive, Los Angeles.
Awesome.
And the studio was Culver Studios.
Culver City, yeah.
Okay.
They're all up in flames now anyway, aren't they?
That's right.
Yeah, we were talking about that before we came on.
Very strange claim to fame is the house that Doc Brown lived in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Was the house that belonged to my wife's relatives who live somewhere in California. So the actual house is actually they've kept it just because it's like a tourist attraction when you go to LA or wherever it is.
Yeah. As you can tell, everybody, we've got our fingers on the pulse of what's current in movies and TV. Just 40-year-old films, Back to the Future, and the 60-year-old Batman TV show.
You try your best.
We're not living in the past, we're not living in the... Well, who could blame us? I mean, here I am in Great Britain. Great Britain's been making the news a little bit lately. I think you may have heard something about this, but it does turn out that our government does have their priorities right after all, and we are getting an inquiry into... Yeah, I know this is what everybody wants. We are getting an inquiry into the price of Oasis tickets there. So they've got their priorities bang up there on the UK government. So, let us know what you think of that. Instagram and X at Spacebook.
Well, can I ask you, is Oasis ticket prices, is that code for buying a sex slave? Because then that would make sense.
Let us know in the comments.
That's...
I mean, look, this whole furore over the ticket prices ever since Oasis. Listen, I'm an Oasis fan, right?
Me too, mate.
I grew up listening to Oasis, so to see them back for me is once in a lifetime opportunity, which I'm unfortunately not going to be able to experience. Everybody else that is an Oasis fan like me, I hope they enjoy it. But this just goes to show you that the people that are in charge, right, they will concentrate on things like this rather than what actually needs to be the focus. It's always smoke and mirrors with them all. Listen, people, this whole ticket debacle was started off by Oasis anyway. They're the ones that need to fix it. The government shouldn't be getting involved anyway. It's absolutely stupid. Do you know what I mean? There's ticking agencies out there, and I do believe in the UK and Ireland there is a regulator that regulates all of these ticket places. So why the government actually need to investigate it? It's a waste of taxpayers' money. Focus on what you need to focus on over there. And we all know what the focus is. I'll just be careful because we're live now. Don't want to get you into trouble with YouTube. But we all know on this panel what needs to be the focus in the UK. And it certainly isn't fucking ticket prices. Let's be honest.
I have been...
Ticket prices are too. But, you know, there seems to be lots of options of things you can buy there in England.
I mean, some of us are looking to be able to focus on anything, Rabbi, considering the amount of pornography we've indulged in over the decades.
Someone can get him for free like he did the Taylor Swift.
Yeah, he had no problem getting those, did he? But I wanted to bring this to your attention. If you didn't know, Rabbi, I only found this out this week. The news that Playboy is returning to print in a few weeks' time. So, Playboy's back, everybody. That long legacy.
Reprints, are they original? Are they actually using women or?
Probably modern day.
I mean, I'm really intrigued.
I'm worried.
Going in.
I hope they're going to be. I hope they're going to hire.
It would be fascinating.
Well, I hope they're going to hire Rabbi as a creative consultant.
Well, you certainly can.
Okay, so here's the deal. After 66 years, Playboy stopped producing their print magazine in 2020. Their reason was, they said disruption from the global pandemic was the reason why they had to stop having a print edition of the magazine. But they're starting again next month. It's going to be an annual edition at first, and they're launching a search for a brand new Playmate as well. So seeing Playboy back, I mean, is this, from Tiny Acorns, is this a road back?
Women? I mean, that's really the question. Is it still?
I certainly hope so.
I mean, I think that's fantastic. I mean, from a cultural level, obviously it looks very good, but on a cultural level, it's fantastic that this is doable again, right?
Oh, definitely doable.
If it's got Jamie Lee Curtis's son on the cover, I'm off.
Exactly.
It's going to look like
Jamie Lee Curtis's son. Or don't I want to know? God.
You don't want to know, and don't Google it, please.
You'll be rooting for Michael Myers if you knew the truth about Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis's son transitioned into a woman. That's the joke.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Oh, bring back the heroes. Bring back the heroes.
That's what I said. She needs to send him out into the fires and make a man out of him.
In Trading Places, right? So
that'll be the
complaining
ultimate
about
cover.
Fireman.
Not have as nicer boobs as my mum, right?
I only caught the last end.
Yeah, I know.
The end of that sentence.
Okay.
Nicer boobs than my mum sounds so wrong.
In Trading Places, right? They look spectacular, right? Absolutely spectacular. I would not want to transition and have boobs less good than my mother's. So I don't know. That's a high bar to get over.
We're all for bringing back the heroes here. All the heroines, come to think of it. Sarah Connor being a prime example. Speaking of heroes, I think very much one of our mascots here at the Spacebook Live, Chris, is this guy. It's him. Nicolas Cage there, and this image that's been produced this week by who's this by? This is by the Legacy of Geek have released this image. It's a teaser image for what we're speculating may happen. So the idea is that could Nicolas Cage end up playing Jor-El in the new DC universe?
Awesome.
That'd be awesome.
That would be beyond awesome because Nicolas Cage is God. Hashtag long live Nicolas Cage. I say this every time. He is my favorite actor, and I say that unironically. That would make the movie for me. Nicolas Cage has never been in an unwatchable movie. He's been in terrible movies, but he makes them awesome, like that Jesus Apocalypse movie thing, whatever.
Knowing.
No. I actually like Knowing. No, it's the other one. Left Behind. That movie is terrible. But the degree to which he doesn't care what he's doing makes it awesome, and you'll laugh the whole way through.
Yes. I like him earning a living. Right?
Yes.
He's also done great movies. I love Wild at Heart. I haven't seen that for years.
Watch, Dan, dude, if you have not seen Longlegs, I know I've said this before, best horror movie I've seen probably in the past couple years, and I've seen thousands. So, so I'm totally for this. James Gunn, you do this. You've won me over. Well, your image of the puppy won me over because you manipulated me emotionally with that.
I don't know.
Dan, did you notice? Did you notice that this picture? Did you notice that in this picture, Nicolas Cage now looks completely like his co-star Sean Connery in The Rock?
Oh,
well, he has more hair.
Actually,
could be right. Yeah, there is a resemblance.
Actually, he had long hair in that one. Well, he had an impressive wig.
He did.
He did. As I'm talking about The Rock, can I ask everybody? I just assumed Sean Connery was playing a version of James Bond that was cast by these. You all agree, right? I've never. I
think this is another favourite fan theory, isn't it? We talk about Nick Cage with long hair. I mean, he's got a long history with the Superman character. Unfinished business, you could say. He was cast all the way back in. When was this, Matt? When was Nick Cage cast as Superman in a film we never saw? It's got to be the 90s, isn't it?
1994.
Oh, was it? Wow, that early. Okay.
Wow. So, yeah, I think we're overdue. I mean, I know technically we sort of got this but we didn't get. He didn't say anything. He didn't do anything. He didn't really look that much like Nick Cage either in the Flash film, did he? So, I don't know. Let's just hope. I think this would be great.
I didn't watch the Flash movie. I consciously boycotted that after Ezra's behavior. I didn't want to. I've never seen that movie, so I don't know if it's actually good or bad.
It's not. It's a disaster.
But look, there's one thing I can say.
I'm surprised if Nick Cage has seen it.
Ever since I've heard, Nick Cage was connected to Superman because there was that Kevin Smith movie that never came to fruition either. Remember, there's been 5 or 6 attempts to get Superman back on the screen before they brought it back with Superman Returns, and we know how that ended up going. So Nicolas Cage was in the frame. We saw those photographs, and I think as soon as a lot of fans saw those photographs, he said, "Yeah, he could play Superman."
I got it wrong. It was 1997.
In the James Gunn movie, but again, I won't be watching that movie.
So Matt was right there. 1997. That's 28 years.
Can I just say I'm one of the few people that I really like Superman Returns. It was a bit overlong. But I loved Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. I thought what's his name was okay as Superman. There's about a 20-minute thing that's edited out where he goes. It's a sequel to Superman 2, where he goes tracing back the Phantom Zone to Krypton, and you see this whole again. It's this very cool sequence where he goes to Krypton.
Rabbi, I'm quite a fan. I am quite a fan of Superman Returns, but I think, as with a lot of movies, it simply needs more Nick Cage. That's what I've got to. That's the overriding feeling about all of that. We're all for bringing back the heroes, of course, here at the Spacebook Live. This is very much the recurring theme, and it from all over the world and across the decades too in geeky pop culture. Bring back the heroes. Now, all the way back in the 80s, believe it or not. All these macho guys we're looking at here, so it's one thing, and they were all over the screen in shows that came at us in the UK from all over the world. Rabbi, you'll remember, we got Starsky and Hutch, we got the Dukes of Hazzard. None of those guys were my favourites. And you know what? Neither were the New Avengers, and neither were the Professionals. My favourites were these. Yes, so we're following up on our celebration of the Avengers a few weeks ago. I just wanted to give a nod to the 40th anniversary of Dempsey and Makepeace, the British action crime drama produced by LWT. Yeah, believe it or not, Rabbi, it aired its first ever episode, a feature-length episode, exactly on this date, January the 11th, 1985, starring Michael Brandon and Glynis Barber. This was one of the shows of my youth, Rabbi. I mean, it was filming all over London, wasn't it?
So look, I mean, again, if you've been watching season 4 of Blake 7, you'll know that Glynis Barber does indeed have a fantastic arse, right? Just absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah,
as you can just sense all the way through this. The American bloke was okay, but even in my somewhat innocent childlike state, I was still more interested in being horny for Glynis Barber, right? He was kind of just got in the way. But yeah, was this awful? I haven't seen it since it came out.
Awful? You've never seen it in the whole 40 years since it was on originally?
No, I've never even thought about seeing it again. I've got to see the show. You just took me into
30 episodes, 3 seasons. It was barely on screen for 2 years, 2 calendar years, Matt. You're a bit of an Anglophile. Have you ever come across this on Australian TV or picked up the DVDs?
I remember it, but very vaguely, very vaguely. I couldn't. Are they Americans working in England or?
Well, the premise was that, it's half and half. You see, the premise was that Jim Dempsey, he's the one on the right for 21st century viewers. Jim Dempsey is a New York cop, and he gets into trouble with a local mob boss. He sort of angers them whilst he's on the job. And so his bosses, they send him off to London for safekeeping, to keep him out of trouble, where Dempsey is partnered with Harriet Makepeace. Now, she's a British detective, and she's not too sure at all about her new partner, who's got some unorthodox methods. So it doesn't sound like a cliche at all. Michael Brandon and Glynis Barber, very, very charged pairing. You know, they've got masses of chemistry, real life attractions, as I'm sure that everybody knows. You know, he was after her the entire time they were filming this, and eventually he was very, very successful as well. You're quite right, Rabbi. She'd been previously known as Sulin on Blake 7 for us kids, but she really made the mainstream here as part of this really high-profile action series from the makers of The Professionals.
Yeah, it was like really central in the kind of. Looking at her though, I keep thinking, well, wouldn't she have made a great Judge Anderson? What a bummer that never happened, right? She would have been perfect as Judge Anderson. Who would be Judge Dredd to her? I don't know, but
Brandon.
This is. Well, this still says everything. It's made from cliches. You can probably get an AI to make another 30 episodes without blinking, right? And they would be just as good. I don't know.
Hey Dan, I'm gonna make a wild guess, Dan. That who's the man? Was he Dempsey?
Yes.
That's the guy on the right.
I'm going to guess that Dempsey was a maverick that played by his own rules. Is that right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. And get this, Gary, the pilot episode, the feature-length pilot, which they billed as Dempsey and Makepeace, the movie, it was titled Armed and Extremely Dangerous. This is a fabulous show. Have you ever seen it, Gary?
It was syndicated here in the U.S. For a while. I think I saw like an episode or so. I remember it had like a really groovy 80s theme song.
Yeah.
It did. You know, would you like to hear it again?
Sure.
Yeah.
Dempsey doesn't always see things the British way.
Dempsey, you're out of order.
Makepeace doesn't always see things Dempsey's way. I'm Spikings. I'm in charge.
Dempsey!
What have you claimed?
You dumb fraud, get us out of here!
Dempsey and Makepeace, be glad they're on your side.
Dumb broad.
Dempsey and Makepeace making the equalizer look like Shakespeare.
Dumb broad.
They'd never get away with that now, would they, Gary? You dumb broad.
Oh, that was very much of its time, isn't it? Yeah, that's kind of like as you would expect an episode of what was that show, Ashes to Ashes, to like veer into Dempsey and Makepeace. That would have kind of worked for that show. I know that was awful.
It's a fun. I cannot recommend it. It does tail off a little bit towards the end, but it's a really, really fun show, and that chemistry that they've got, it has lasted the two actors, the two stars of the show, lasted them a lifetime. They got married a few years after the show. They're still married to this day. They've got a child and a dog by the looks of things. And yeah, they're very much still a presence in the British media. There's regular interviews with them, and you see them on daytime TV shows and things like that. And now and again, you'll find them touring in some sort of two-hander play or whatever. I know that Michael Brandon is the other. I think he's in his 70s now. He's done numerous shows, including Doctor Who. He's in a Doctor Who. And Glennis Barber too is rarely off the TV, so they are kind of low-level national treasures, I think.
I imagine if they ever get to,
she's beautiful, isn't she? I mean,
she's
still beautiful.
In like recent years, she really is stunning.
I imagine if they do, if the Blake 7 Blu-rays get up to season 4, I have to believe they're going to interview her or have her.
Oh, I'm sure she's done Blake 7 stuff. She on Big Finish.
You would hope so. You would hope so.
No, she likes Blake 7.
Obviously, a very, very stunning looking woman there. She's acknowledged it today on her X profile too. So, she said, this is one of the adverts. So I thought you'd enjoy this.
Okay, so everybody put that up on X and see how long it is before you get canceled.
This is like a parade of political incorrectness, this show.
Yes, exactly.
I thought you'd appreciate it. Yeah,
30, exactly the right time for Dempsey and Makepeace.
Yeah, but Glennis hasn't shared that. Well, not yet. Anyway, she might do if we tweet it at her. She hasn't shared that, but she has shared this, acknowledging the anniversary. Where have those 40 years gone? Still feels like yesterday, she said, as the kind of official fan account for Dempsey and Makepeace was celebrating all today by sharing various clips and things like that. So, yeah, this really has got a devoted fan base. It's not just me. Wow. And I just love to get it on Blu-ray. So looking as good as they made the Sweeney look, as they made the Professionals look, because for me this show is
Sweeney,
probably better.
That again. I bet that I love the Sweeney movies. I haven't seen the Sweeney TV show for years. I'll so watch that again.
It's still great.
You just sent me away from Dempsey and Makepeace. I would rather watch Equalizer, and I quite like the Equalizer actually.
Oh, I love Equalizer. The original.
The original.
I hate those movies.
Dan, do they not run Dempsey and Makepeace on like some of the UK like retro channels or anything like that?
It gets repeated quite regularly, and I think that's why the two stars have remained sort of in the media. I think that's why it's still got a certain kind of, for a show that was on for less than 2 years, it's still got a kind of awareness out there. Dempsey, mate, it's kind of like the Electric Boogaloo thing. Everybody's heard of it, but even if they haven't seen the film, everybody's heard of Dempsey and Makepeace, even if they've never seen the show. It's really weird.
Oddly, I've never. It's rare that I haven't heard of something. I don't think I've ever heard of this.
It's well worth looking up. If you like grimy British crime shows from 40 years ago that are massively politically incorrect, with lots of pretty girls and vintage cars.
Everything's politically incorrect if it was made beyond 2015.
But
very true.
Doctor Who, was it? See, the Colin Baker's main season, that makes a lot more sense given that this was in the same TV landscape.
It doesn't. There's a lot of crossover as well with guest actors from that. Actually, and everything. Come to think, if they were in the bill, they're probably in Dempsey and Makepeace. It's that kind of show, very much. So happy 40th anniversary.
At that same time, wasn't it? Where they were still in their uniform.
Yeah. In fact, I think that the bill started as a regular show the same year. After the pilot was 83, and so it would have been around the same time the regular show started.
I'm going to watch this.
I will check it out. I am intrigued. I like politically incorrect because, I'm Bulls Trek, so yeah. Apparently, I listen to this.
You have to, don't you? It's part of your reputation. It sort of comes with the territory, really. Before, happy 40th anniversary to Dempsey and Makepeace and all fellow fans. And I can't recommend enough that you hit up that show if you haven't already. Obviously, Dempsey didn't play by the rules. He took chances. He was a bit of a maverick. But whether he played with fireworks, I don't know. That'd take bigger balls than Dempsey's, I think. But this is the regular segment of the show where we remind you not to do anything that's too fucking stupid. With a public service announcement from TV past from all over the world, but generally speaking from North America. Our guide being the one and only Bolstrek. He knows this subject inside out because it's been tormenting his nightmares, it seems, for several decades. And you've come up with a belter this time, Chris, haven't you? What are you going to treat us to this time? Do you want to ramp it up for them?
Oh, sure. So this is so now we're moving over to the province of Quebec, and I've been warning you that at some point I'm going to start the Quebec road safety PSAs.
Road safety.
So most of these are quite disturbing.
Okay.
I don't know if this is disturbing as the cartoon characters about not putting things in your mouth that I showed before Christmas, because
that was
something we all see
terrifying.
in our nightmares.
That was bad.
But this may be number 2 after that. So what is most disturbing? Well, this is, I'm going to be honest, this one's a bit of a downer. I don't think it's, so Dan's seen it, so he knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
so,
let's hit.
Okay, let's thoroughly depress everyone. Here we go.
Oh, there you go.
Courtesy of Quebec.
That's unbelievably dark.
Well, he's a bit of a pussy for not speaking up then if he was speeding. Like,
David
if you're
Lynch
not in a
dark.
car, if you're not in a car with somebody, you're not, like, telling them to slow down now, because I would.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would. Oh, yeah, Noel, you haven't experienced the last
Grab the wheel.
Wait a minute. It was a guy who didn't speak up was killed.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well,
he got a thing impaled.
There's no lesson to it. It should have been the guy who was driving fast got killed, and he was like racked with guilt. Now nobody knows. He didn't speak up, and nobody knows. Okay.
Well, see, there's a bit of a pattern here. So, Noel, basically we've been covering Canada. So Ontario likes having people in horrific workplace accidents. Alberta likes punching ladies, and Quebec has very bad drivers.
The UK and Ireland used to have some crazy, Dan, didn't we? We used to have some crazy fucking, the ones with the electrical cables, the kids kicking the frisbees.
Kids going flying through the air.
So I got a doozy for that coming up in a few weeks. Oh dear!
If Dempsey'd been in that car, he would have grabbed the wheel and flipped the car.
You could be right. You could be right. Yeah, that really is nightmare fuel. I mean, we joke about these things on the weekly. Some of them are more grisly than others, but that genuinely was like something out of a David Lynch movie.
Well, see, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start balancing these out. So every 2 weeks, we'll see something horrific that you'll be seeing in your nightmares for the rest of the week, and then I'll do the more disturbingly humorous one. I've got a fun one planned for next week.
Their faces were priceless, all right. I mean,
thank heaven for little dogs. Hey, Noel, I know you've got a little dog of your own.
Okay.
I do.
I didn't even notice.
Right?
Hey, buddy.
Obviously, you love Charlie's Gorgeous, right? How did you not like Crypto? I don't get it even more. That dog melted the hearts of even the hardest men.
Because, listen, here's the thing about the James Gunn, if we're getting back to that, right? I'll just say very briefly, the reason why I believe his Suicide Squad movie didn't work, I didn't like it. Everybody else liked it. I thought it sucked. And the reason why it sucked is because I'm not a comic book fan, right? I watched the movie franchises of these properties, right? Like Superman, So I don't give a shit about crypto. I don't give a shit about what villains look like in the comics.
Right.
I want a Superman movie. So
but he
this
looks
is
like
why
a-
I believe this movie will fail, is because
Aw.
James Gunn has gone
Oh,
down
he's so
the
cute.
comic book route and he's playing on his heartstrings with that. Come
It's
on.
melting my heart.
It worked with Guardians of the Galaxy quite nicely, though, didn't it? Not work for most people.
No, I agree. Guardians of the Galaxy is good, and I'm not going to knock that, but I didn't like his Suicide Squad movie, so I'm actually worried about that Superman movie, to be quite honest with you.
Loved everything. I love Suicide
I've liked what
Squad.
I well.
I
No,
liked,
this picture is what won me over. But of course, this is me, and you throw a puppy at me. I'm like, oh, I can't bring myself.
They did
to
an
hate this.
animated movie with Crypto, starring Crypto. It's called The League of Super Pets. Dan, did you see that
But
one?
this is the first time it's
I've
really.
not seen that one. No.
What the universe.
But you
was
see,
a
Gary,
cartoon
you
called
know
Predator
all of
Super
that
Dog.
because you're probably mad into comics and you know all of that stuff. But there's people out there that watch the Superman franchise, only know about the TV shows and the movies with Christopher Reeves and the Superman Returns. I mean,
Honestly, I don't.
Do you think people might find it confusing, Noel?
I personally do. I think there'll be people going in there that won't have a clue who these characters are or what's going on because he's setting nothing up. Is he going to set this up in the movie? Fine, fair enough. If he does that, maybe he'll get away with it. But I don't think this is going to be as successful as he thinks it is. I hope it is because let's be honest, all of the crap with the Zack Snyder fans, you know, they're elevating this man to God status. Listen, his universe was average at best. Man of Steel was a good movie. Batman versus Superman was average, and the rest of it, well, the Justice League was a CGI thing because obviously he was screwed over, but it was still good. But overall, his universe wasn't as great as everybody's making it out to be either. So the Zack Snyder fans need to take a bit of an L on that one because
if the people who are very overzealous as regards Zack Snyder. No, I agree with you. I agree with you completely. If those people had have been that vocal and that supportive when he was actually making those movies,
exactly,
they might have done a lot better. Because I like those films, but I seem to remember being I seemed like the only person in the world who liked them at the time. Now you've got this army of people who are permanently pissed off with anybody who goes anywhere near the characters since, as if there's some sort of holy texts of some kind, and yet back in the day, which was only like 2013, you couldn't seem to find anybody who got a good thing to say about Man of Steel. It's quite extraordinary. Obviously, results may vary.
Right, we had it that good, quite frankly.
I like Man of Steel. There's some people in the chat that don't, but I actually do like that movie. But that was the only decent movie, in my opinion, in the whole Zack Snyder universe. The other movies I thought were inconsistent. So, this revisionism that's going on with Zack Snyder is absolutely pathetic.
It's mostly politically minded, in my opinion. But let us know what you think. Obviously, in the comments, we've got a long way to wait until those films start to make their way to the screen. Lots of time to talk about it. I think we're going to get a new trailer pretty soon as well. Maybe a new teaser of some kind. It is time to head over to the live chat though and see what people have got to say about all the things that we've got into so far on the show. There's people watching on Rumble and on YouTube too. Let's go and say hello to them.
Got any dirty videos? Bet you haven't seen this. The Scotch Video Head Cleaner. It cleans up dirty pictures caused by dirty video recording heads. Oh, glory. Look at that bone structure.
Are you sitting comfortably?
Tape, it buggered up my VCR.
Bad. Growing up as a kid.
Never use them. Use them.
That's something Rabbi would never buy because it says it cleans up dirty pictures.
Here, well, see those ads. Those ads were really popular.
Right, I like to see them. Actually, I have to tell you, dirty pictures are better not in HD. I would think. I think 4K is not pornography.
See, Matt, we always had head cleaners in my home when I was growing up. We used them, but You say they did more harm than good?
They did some real major damage to the heads on the VCR. We were warned off them because ours actually cracked the head of the and it was like,
ouch.
I remember back in the day, because like this is the 80s, it was like they were thousands of dollars to get fixed.
Yeah,
And
it's,
it was expensive, and we never would we were sort of told not to use them in future.
Same thing here, dude. Yeah, it's the chemical that they used to include with it. You know, you'd put it in the little hole, and
it's like an alcohol.
Yeah, it destroyed it destroyed the heads. So so do not use those. They were a scam.
Yeah.
Wow. My man dad used to use them all the time to clean the fucking heads of the blades.
So
I wonder they kept replacing them because they became cheap then to get a VCR then at one stage, and then they were trying out all the new different models that come out. Like, but yeah, I used to love the smell of a cassette tape. You know, when you put the tape in, the videotape in, the smell of it. Like, I love the smell of video shops and all. Miss all of that.
I was just thinking of that. I was watching
plastic.
I've been revisiting Seinfeld, which I do every year. The DVDs, which look perfect on my Panasonic upgrading player. But no, I was watching one episode, and it's when George runs into Susan. This is before he kills her, and they're in a video store, and they got the stores. I'm like, I could actually smell it. I'm like, I miss the smell of videotapes. You know, you go to Blockbuster or Banditos, as it was here before Blockbuster, and then you get the tapes, and then you have like that awesome plastic smell. And they need to, you know how you can buy car cleaner or a new car smell? They need new video. You can buy the Blockbuster smell for your house. I would do that.
I'd be down for that.
I'd be my DVD Blu-ray rooms. I would be rubbing down the shelves with that.
That's all you're rubbing down. We'll be fine. I want to say evening all to our mate John Yulden. I think he is recovering very slowly. Hope to have John back on the show soon, but it's great to see you there in the live chat, mate, on YouTube. Keep powering through, mate. Keep powering through. Archer Collins there as well. Evening, folks, says Colin. We've got Miranda in the live chat too. Hello, you fine fellows. You're on the wrong channel. Good to see you. Happy New Year, Miranda. PD Rich is in here as well. Volunteering to be a moderator. That's very game of you. Very game. We'll sort that out. Thank you, PD. Crimpling Doubloon says ahoy, shipmates, which is always good to hear. Never goes awry when Crimpling Doubloon is on board, is on deck. Michael Q's in as well. So Michael asks, why is Nicholas a Superman? Is he going to play Superman's dad in the new Superman movie? We can only hope, Michael. We can only hope.
It's a mock-up. It's AI.
I mean, it'd certainly be a positive. It'd certainly be a positive in its favor if he puts Nicolas Cage in this movie, and I think it'll blow a lot of people away because they've wanted it for a long time. So
it's a little bit of bringing the fun back, isn't it, Noel? But bring the fun back. That's what we say. Greetings and felicitations. Hope you are all well, asks Darren. You well, Gary? You're nodding? You well?
Yep.
He's nodding. He's okay, Darren. He's okay. We've gone back to the lesbians there. Miranda says it was the lesbians. It was. Apparently, they're all called Kristen, was it? Or Kirsten, something like that?
No,
I don't know.
I'll never learn.
Aliens arrived, took one look and said, nope, we're off. We're done.
Out of here.
We're going to change their mind this evening. I think we're doing okay so far. I think if the 40th anniversary of Dempsey and Makepeace didn't swing them, then the public information film that will have certainly got them interested again. Emery Colomi is in the live chat and asks, have you ever watched Obsolete? Aliens disrupt military power on Earth by trading a used power skeletal rig for a single 2-meter cube of limestone. God, that sounds boring. No, I've not seen this, Emery. It sounds like some sort of daytime TV show where they go around a car boot sale and flog something on.
That's right.
I'll go and look it up, Emery. Thanks for the recommendation. It's great.
Doctor Who.
Obsolete. Yeah, I'll write it down. I've got a little notepad next to me,
Michael
Henry, so when
Ironside's
people mention
probably
stuff,
in
I
there.
always scribble it down. Mike, well, now you're talking. That my interest would shoot up. Anything that Michael Ironside is in. I also listen to anything that Lucy Meow says there in the live chat. Hello, everyone. Good to have you back. Lucy, Lord Thoughts in as well. Who was that?
That was a very good cat impression.
That was very good, Matt.
Do that again. Do it again.
I say he's suffering from performance anxiety now. Too much pressure. Too much information, says Colin Archer. TMI, says Michael Q. We blew them early doors. Blew them away with all this sort of stuff. What else have we got? Incompetent is all about micromanagement of nothing.
You got it, Lucy.
Says Lucy. Yeah.
Yeah, but every time you got to say that now, Dan, you have to meow.
I was just thinking that you should put that on a t-shirt, and I thought it'd be a really long t-shirt. There's 2 really long words. You'd have to hyphen them or put them onto a really big person. So like Pat Roach from Raiders of the Lost Ark, or that bird out of the Doctor Who special in Bridgerton. But she probably get that on her file.
She'd need a beating. She'd need a building banner. She would.
Oh dear! There's lots of comments in the live chat about our Prime Minister that I wish I could read out, but I can't, Michael. But keep them coming anyway. Vent.
I can read them
by
out
all
because I'm
means.
Australian. I'm allowed to say anything.
He's not going to get the knock at the door, are you? No.
Nah.
Stone's at the door. It's Kerr. He wouldn't.
Are you
come to your
sure
door
it's
anyway,
him?
you coward.
He's come for me. He's come for me, everybody. He's come for me. 80s big hair, says Miranda. That one's for you, Matt.
Oh, you awful. No, that's just mean.
We'll get you a wig. No bother. Don't mind. We'll get you a wig. It's all good.
I was
he
thinking
was-
of tattooing hair, actually.
I know somebody who's had that done to look
Oh,
like
no.
Jason Statham. I know, and it looks as ridiculous as it sounds. I think there's a lot of dignity. There's a lot of dignity in just taking it all off. Greetings,
It's called
everyone.
being
Says,
a man. I don't hold on to
yeah,
scraps.
That's it, man. The
I
goals.
ain't no Krusty the Clown.
good man.
That's it, man. That's it. Look, there's baldness runs through my family. If my hair starts falling out, I'll accept it. I'll just shave the whole lot off.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, you want to have a comb over? No.
Or could keep a comb over. Actually, I wouldn't mind an old comb over now. A little
Like
bit
that
of
guy
hair.
that used to do the Hamlet.
Just to keep the balls
Let's
back
go.
warm.
Could be your tribute to what was his name, Jack Charlton, the guy, the football.
I'm thinking of
That's
Baldy.
it, yeah,
Remember
the
him?
Ireland manager, Leeds
Yeah.
legend, yeah, Jack Charlton.
Yeah. Greetings, everyone, says Scott in the game closet. Happy New Year, Scott. Haven't caught up with you yet this year. Good to see you there, mate. And Miranda says that Longlegs is on Amazon Prime now, Chris. So you mentioned that earlier on. That stars Nicolas Cage, doesn't it? The horror film from late last year.
Yeah.
Yes, and I highly recommend. Yes, definitely watch it. But if you're looking for something to get on 4K, the 4K of that looks. I'd say it's probably the best looking 4K I picked up last year. It is just mind blowing. So yes, watch it on Prime, and then go get the 4K.
What's this for? The Rock 2?
No,
Long legs.
Long legs.
Long legs.
Oh, right. I didn't even know that was him, to be honest.
No, it's the least Nicolas Cage performance, and it's got a like holy shite moment that you just have to watch it. But visually, it's astounding. That's all I have to say. It's like, and you could frame, you could like put any single frame of that movie on your wall. Well, if you want something that's completely terrifying.
It does look stunning. I'm definitely gonna get that movie after you recommended it. Too young. Peter Rich says he was too young and wasn't allowed to watch Dempsey and Makepeace.
Same.
Crimpling the Blue reminds us that Elizabeth Sladen was in it.
Oh, God, I was allowed to watch friggin' Salem's Lot when I was.
Yeah, but that's the weird thing. They wouldn't let me watch Dempsey and Makepeace or any shows like that, but they'd let me watch horror movies. Like my parents were just weird, man. It's horrors and sci-fi.
That's the best
I could
kind,
watch.
though, Noel.
The crime cop shows and shit like that. No, it was sci-fi and horrors with me growing up.
I still to this day have not seen Rambo. I was never allowed to watch that.
I watched Taggart actually. Taggart and Inspector Morse were my go-tos. Taggart especially.
Taggart was grim. Yeah, that was as grim as Chris's
Taggart.
PSA.
That first one. Oh my god! If you've seen the first one, there's like babies and stuff. It's really, really full on.
Taggart was
it's
grim,
gritty.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Stephen Braddock has joined us on YouTube as well. He says, just got home, switched on the Spacebook, and I get the bombastic action music of Dempsey and Makepeace that takes me back. Got a heart-shaped emoji face there as well. Happy to help, Stephen, and perk up your evening there. Apparently we had an echo earlier on, but it's gone now. Thank you for the IT support.
I'm getting an echo here too.
That's somebody. That's feedback. We've got feedback from somebody.
There's some feedback earlier. I don't know what's going on.
There's something in the air and there's something in the water, says Lee Smith. Not something in my water, I'd have noticed. But obviously, yeah, if there is something in your water, yeah, we recommend get down the GPs if you can. That actually won't be able to see you for another 3 or 4 weeks if you live in Britain. But yeah, you can put your hat in the ring now.
Like 5 months here.
Gone.
Yeah, it's getting that way. Nice doggo, says Lucy. So it's that kind of comments, those kind of remarks. Keep it all coming our way. James Gunn fans and foes in the live chat as well. Just as you said, Noel, this man, he's quite a polarizing figure. John Yulden says the Gunn was involved in structuring Marvel Phase 1, 2, and 3. So I didn't realise that. I assumed he was kind of, no pun intended, a hired gun. I thought they'd brought him in just to do his thing and then bugger off. I had no idea he was involved in the planning of those things.
I thought he was in more in 2 than 1, because 1 was pretty much a done deal.
Right.
That's why it was so good.
Well, it was also good because it was no Disney. It was Marvel distributed by Paramount. Those were the good old days before the mouse.
Yeah. Remember those days. R.I.P. Clobby, we miss you, Clobby, just as Lord Thoth says. One thing, I don't miss Sucker Punch. I think there's talk that there could be some sort of special edition of Sucker Punch from Zack Snyder due at some point.
No way that could be a good movie. I'm sorry. No matter how hot it is, there's no way you can make that into a good. You can make the Avengers movie, which was awful, into a good movie easier than you can make Sucker Punch. There's no way you can make that into a good movie.
I think you're probably right. Lucy advises that the Superman movie needs to work as a movie, not as a comic book illustration. Of course, that goes without saying. I think Lucy, yeah, we adapting the stuff effectively to each medium is where the artistry and the judgment lies. Make head cleaners great again, as Gary.
Yeah.
No.
That's it.
They just don't work in the first place.
That would look good on a T-shirt. That would definitely look good on a T-shirt, and we could have the
but
two
definitely,
roles.
Definitely go back to physical copies, physical media. And if you can't get yourself a VCR, they're cheap now. If you can't get yourself a VCR, get yourself a VCR. Get one.
That's like when they used to come with like DVD cleaners. They were trying to do the whole, trying to do dodgy DVD cleaners. If you've ever seen those, that was shocking.
I have.
No?
I used to use them like a fucking idiot. It ruined the DVD player.
Yeah, they were an absolute scam. They were.
Oh yeah,
because you'd have to clean the laser itself.
Yeah,
presumably.
Yeah, well, that's what it was supposed to do. It was a laser cleaner, but it wasn't. You actually put the. Yeah, it was awful.
It actually scratched the laser, and then your DVDs would skip. Then it actually done more damage than.
Well, yeah, it had like an actual brush on it. I'm like, this is a terrible idea.
Yeah,
I just checked eBay. I checked eBay.
I never ever used
VHS head cleaners. There's more than 2,000 VHS head cleaners available on eBay.
And could you imagine the cleaning fluid the state that's in, given that they're like decades old?
What sort of fluid are they using? That's what I want to know.
Lighter fluid.
Maybe not, I don't.
How much are they, Gary? Are they expensive?
$10, $12.
That is expensive.
And they're all brand new and sealed, so they haven't been opened since 1986.
Exactly.
Until 80. Whenever. Lee Smith says, I still have all my VHS videos. We're often a confessional for the things that people are still clinging on to after several decades on this show, aren't we, Gary? Have you noticed that? People feel they're in a safe space where they can admit these things.
Yeah.
Or embrace new things. I'm seriously going to dive into Dempsey and Makepeace. I seriously am. That's not a joke. I want to try it out now.
No, I want to check this out too.
What? Well, what is the worst thing that could happen? And you get more of this.
If
I'm going to keep milking that.
If Dempsey,
They just don't make TV shows like
Dempsey
that anymore, though, do they? They just don't make them like that anymore, though. I
If
mean,
Dempsey and
I
Makepeace-
miss
no-
bumpers now.
there's no
I really
creative
miss
imagination
I
anymore.
agree. That's what I was going to say, Matt. I miss bumpers. I miss proper signature tunes that would be on for 45, 50 seconds. You get your heart pumping. You get the flavour of the show.
To be honest, I think the last great one they ever did was Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Because that
Yeah.
every time that would just bump you up. You were ready for it, you know? But,
The one for the
Yes.
Crown is similar, but I think the Game of Thrones one is better.
And I
Game
missed
of
the
Thrones
next
one's
time
well-
ones.
much well known.
Remember, like next time on TJ Hooker, and then you'd see
Yeah.
scenes from the next week's episode.
I
Those are
love
great.
the
I
Star
miss
Trek:
those.
The Next Generation ones. It was like next time on an all-new episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah.
Data something.
I
But
always
they
loved on
didn't-
StarTrek.com how they had all the next time on Star Trek.
Chris, they didn't say it like that. Remember, he says next time on Star Trek: The Next
Yes.
Generation.
Actually, no, there were two of them. They would re-edit it if it was a new episode. It'd be next time on an all-new episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and then when it went into reruns, it was next time on Star Trek: The Next Generation. Yeah.
Yes,
There you go.
yes, Deanna.
I'm actually
Send
watching
that to a
Deep
few
Space
people.
Nine at the moment.
Oh, me too. I just got back into it.
Now, the last time I tried to get into it, I actually gave up after the second season. I didn't have the concentration for it, but I've binge watched it now since Christmas, and I'm on the third season now, and it's actually starting. That's where everybody said the show really starts to
Comes into its own.
get good. I have to say, the first two seasons, there's some filler episodes in it, but I will agree with everybody's assessment now, even though Star Trek Voyager is still my favourite one. But I will say, from a writing standpoint, Deep Space Nine is the best Trek that has ever been
It's my
written.
favourite Star Trek show, that.
It will never be matched. I'm telling you now, it will never be matched.
It's always been my favourite.
Listen, the Dominion is being mentioned now a couple of times. We've seen the Dominion, the Cardassians, and all of this stuff going on. It's just absolutely wonderful, and the character development is unmatched. It's unmatched. That show, I'm regretting now that I never fully got into it when it was out at the time.
I
Wonderful.
think you need to cleanse your palate, really. So it's just one of those things where you've had so much dross for the last 10 years that you're going back.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the same, Noel. I'm going back to a lot of stuff that I would probably have never seen, never watched.
Yeah,
and I'm just loving it. Because
By the way, if you want
Me too.
HD Next Generation, you just Google fan AI 1080 Star Trek Next Generation upscale, and there are a bunch of them out there. I downloaded the whole show, all 7 seasons, all on HD.
Yeah,
makes such a difference.
Well, if you're talking about new things, it's a shame Ian isn't here. But I have finally started watching Dexter, the show that started almost 20 years ago.
That's great.
I'm halfway through the second season. How have I never watched this?
Who's the villain in the
It's
second season?
right up your street.
Yeah.
Who's the villain in the
Not mine,
second season?
John Lithgow's in that one, isn't
not
it?
that far yet. I'm only halfway
like
through the second season,
3
so
or
no
4.
Yeah, but
spoilers.
you get the underlying villain early on, don't you?
I can never remember who the villains are in these things. Once it's been like a couple of years since I've seen them, I can never remember who's who.
But the John Lithgow season is the best. He's fantastic. I think
I'm at the part halfway through the season where they've discovered Dexter's burial ground of garbage bags. So right now I finished.
It's a little bit weird. As soon as he started marrying, when he behind the scenes started marrying his he married his sister, was a little bit too. You could tell that there was
He was
some...
gay.
In real life?
In real life, yeah, in real
What?
life. He married the actor. His actor,
Oh,
the lady that was playing his sister on the show. He didn't marry his sister in real life.
Oh, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Serious perverts working on that show.
Yeah, and then they divorced, and that's when it started. You could tell that it dipped.
Oh, okay.
But
I've been watching Columbo as well. Columbo as well. I've been
Oh,
watching.
yes. Now you're
Oh,
talking,
yes.
yeah.
God,
that's
Dean's not in.
actually a positive point about so much of what's coming out now being total crap. It's driving all of us back to all the gems that we might not have seen before.
Exactly, Gary. You're absolutely spot on. There's even shows that I've discovered that I never watched when growing up, and I'm like, oh my God, how did I miss that? Do you know what I mean? So especially old British.
I never watched Columbo, but the last couple of years I've been making my way through it very, very slowly, bit by bit. But I'm on to season 4 now. Never saw it growing up. I knew who he was, but I just never sat down and watched it. Now I'm watching it just in piecemeal form and loving it. Whereas I'm going back and binge watching Dallas, which I watched religiously throughout my childhood. I'm loving it.
I don't know, Dan.
Nobody spoil who shot JR for Dan.
Oh no, we won't. Seriously,
I'm past that point now.
When the reboot version of Dallas came out, I was absolutely hyped because I actually preferred Dallas over Dynasty. Do you remember Dynasty and there was Falcon?
Yeah, I watched that.
They were
I watched
always
that too.
fighting in the swimming pools in Dynasty.
That's right.
That was totally better. And JR
Watched all of those growing
up. And then Dan, you have to watch
Dan,
you have to
if you
watch
want a
Knots
great
Landing. That was the
from,
spinoff.
Columbo, a great sequel thing to watch. Wim Wenders' weird movie called Wings of Desire with Peter Falk in it, playing Peter Falk. And it's about, most of it's in black and white. And it's shot in these incredibly widescreen lenses. And there's not much dialogue for the first hour. Right? It's all people's internal
Peter Falk plays himself.
Yeah. It's really wild.
Have you seen
Peter Falk? Like how he talks about how he liked doing Columbos and I wish I could do more like that, or things like, it's really and it's about these angels that like hang around Berlin, eavesdropping on people's thoughts, and
it does sound fascinating. And Gary, you mentioned Knots Landing. Knots Landing was on when I was a kid, but it was on Friday nights, really, really late. So I knew of it and knew that it was a spin-off from Dallas, but I couldn't stay up and watch it. Oh, okay. So somebody has hooked me up with the first season of that recently because they'd seen that I'd been watching these, and they sort of sent me, because you can't get it in Britain. I think it may be streaming somewhere, but somebody sent me a copy of season 1, and so I've watched about the first 4 or 5 of them. And I kind of like it, so I may push on with that. I may try and get hooked up with some of that contraband there. Anyway, so we're gonna drag ourselves back into the present day now, because we have got some morsels of perhaps cinema gold. I don't know, maybe that's going to come our way over the next few weeks. I've sent you guys various trailers because we've got some posters, we've got some trailers for movies that are going to come out over the next 2 to 3 months, because it is quite quiet at the cinema between January and March time. Certainly in Britain, I don't know if it is everywhere in the world, but here in Britain it absolutely is. But there are things that are coming out which caught my eye and have piqued a certain interest. The first of them was this one. So this is a killer android thriller companion from the director Drew Hancock, who I've never heard of. It stars Sophie Thatcher, who I've also never heard of, and Jack Quaid, who I have heard of, know his face because he's Dennis Quaid's son, and he's one of the voices in that bloody awful Star Trek cartoon show. And it's described as a mysterious, self-contained sci-fi story. It's Drew Hancock's feature debut as a director. It features people like Rupert Friend in the supporting cast. There are people that we know sort of here and there. And the idea is it's about an android named Iris, who is manufactured to be the girlfriend of Jack Quaid's character, Josh. And it's from the same team who made 2022's film Barbarian, which I've also never seen. So I sent you guys the trailer to this. Did anybody take a look? And what do you think? What do you think, Chris? What did you think of this? Have you seen Barbarian? And what was your take on this?
I have not seen Barbarian because it does not have a physical release and it's on that streaming service that I refuse to pay for. But when he sent me this, the first thing I say is from the studio that brought you The Notebook. I'm like, oh no. I'm sure
I wondered
many
about
of us
that.
have been forced to sit through The Notebook, but I watched it. I'm like, this is dark, and that sadly I could see this happening. Yeah, so I figured this might be right up Rabbi's alley as well. Because it's from what I can gather, it's about a sex doll or a sex companion or sex robot, where all the safeties are removed, and then it becomes like Megan, and then bad things start happening. And I'm like, Rabbi would love this. So it's wonderfully dark. I don't necessarily. I'm tired of nepo babies, but I don't necessarily hate Jack Quaid. He's been on Red Letter Media a few times, so he's been
seems okay, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's so he's like one of the maybe 3 nepo babies I can actually stand. He was also on one of the episodes that killed Strange New Worlds, unfortunately. But no, it's this is one that's I don't know if I'll see it in the theater, but this is a definite physical media pickup. I love gross things. And in the back of my head, I'm like, is this what happens when your sex robot becomes woke? Kill you because you're playing with the sex robot. Except maybe they like the sex robots. I don't know. Rabbi, what did you think?
You're muted.
You're muted, Rabbi.
You're muted, Rabbi.
We've missed out on so much dirtiness here. Either that or maybe this is...
By the way, I have seen this actress in another movie.
He's muting himself on purpose.
Know this actress. I've seen this actress in another movie.
What's the sign language? We need to watch those fire things again.
Sophie Thatcher, who plays the sex bot Iris here. Yeah, she is from a series called Yellow Jackets, which I have heard good things about.
Yeah, I think she's also in the movie. I think she's the same actress that was in the movie that I recently watched with the Mrs. The Heretic with Hugh Grant, where she plays a Jehovah's Witness with another Jehovah's Witness girl go to Hugh Grant's gaff, and then all creepy shit starts happening.
Gotcha.
Actually, Chris, you might like that movie because you're a bit of a... I wouldn't say it's strictly a horror movie, but it does have those undertones. So it's called The Heretic. It is.
That's on my list of movies I actually want to watch. I haven't seen.
Yeah, and this actress is actually in it, so I know this actress from that movie, and she was pretty good in that movie. She played one of the Jehovah's Witnesses. I think it's the same actress. Very good. So.
Actually, I've been waiting for that to come out. Now that you reminded me, Noel, I'm just going to see if there is actually a release date for that. But yeah, no, that's with Hugh Grant, who amazingly has found a second career playing very evil people, which is awesome. Yeah, really
he's good doing evil. You know,
he is, isn't he?
Let me get this straight.
Good looking people often are. Rabbi.
Oh, here we go.
Here's Rabbi.
Coming out on... Oh, actually, it comes out in 2 weeks on January 21st. But I will be buying this at Walmart because I am not giving Amazon $33 for a standard Blu-ray. God damn it, Amazon, you suck.
Yes, they do. I don't know. Honestly, to me, okay. Why didn't this appeal? I got something loaded up in the thing, which a clip of these things are real. Right, these robots are real.
That's right.
And, they're programmed to be girlfriends. Right. If you want to play it for it, it's very it's clean. Don't worry. And it's a very 1.0 version, but it's freaky. So this time I'm saying it's too real. So it just kind of bums me out. I find the whole AI girlfriend thing people have, that it's been so successful. It depresses me. So yeah, this doesn't really do anything for me.
Weird. Did you ever see a movie a few years ago, Rabbi, called Robot and Frank, that starred Frank Langella as an old man whose children buy him a robot?
I like that movie. It was on Netflix or something.
Yeah, obviously there was no sexual component to that. It was, the robot was very sort of boxy, wasn't it? It was sort of deliberately looked kind of like today's technology, just a couple of steps on, like a robot would.
Isn't there a Black Mirror episode kind of like this, or am I just imagining things?
Probably.
No, I think
there is.
Yeah.
But it's a dude, isn't it? It's the ginger guy from those terrible Star Wars movies from a couple of years ago.
Well,
I don't remember.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. And what's his name too? Oscar. He's in the Star Wars as well.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, him. He's in that movie as well.
Oh,
you can buy one of those robots.
Oh yes, he is.
He plays the son. £5,000.
Yeah, but why are we? But why are the movie? Why is the movie industry all of a sudden obsessed with sex robots? And, seriously, though.
No, this is the thing, Noel. I think it has something to do with it's been written by. Do we know who did the screenplay, Dan? Because I think that this is a feminist revenge movie.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, and I'm looking at
what happens when your sex robot goes woke. This is a possibility. One of those films where I'm all excited, and then I watch. I'm like, no, like just a recent example of being completely hoodwinked into something that was terrible. I think I've probably complained about it on this stream at some point. But there was a movie called I Saw the TV Glow. I'm like, this looks really cool. Then I watched it. The entire thing is a trans allegory. I was so mad.
Oh, it's like when I watched that movie. Again. It happened with me, Chris, with a film called The Girl on the Train with Emily Blunt, which was a massive sort of misandrist's feast of a story.
That was
beautifully made movie.
That was the one with that bloke that was out of J.K. Rowling's movies, wasn't it? Fantastic Beasts. Is that who you mean, Dan?
You know what? I can't remember. I only really watched it so I could see Emily Blunt. In all fairness, but it did look, the trailer. It looked really exciting. It looked almost Hitchcockian, and in the end, it was just another movie about how shitty men are. Don't trust men. That kind of thing.
One of the better things about being in the latter stages of the culture war is they don't bother to hide something being woke anymore. Like in the trailer, they'll just tell you straight out. I hated that when it was like, surprise, it's
this looks like someone that it looks like he gets given a robot, and then he gets into a real relationship with a real woman who's interracial, and then he turns around. Well, yeah, I think it's that girl that's behind him.
Oh, the Indian girl in the trailer.
Yeah, I was going to say, because they look like they're too chummy. So anyway, so obviously, he tries to get rid of her, and then she's going to get her revenge.
Oh, so he tries to offload the sex bot, and she's not having any of that. Neville says it looks a lot like the Meghan and Harry situation to him. You know what? I think the more I think about it, he could be onto something.
It does look like Harry.
That'd be tables will turn, wouldn't it? That'd be like the other way around.
White eyes burning like fire, says Lee Smith. That's a quote, isn't it, from that Bright Eyes, the Watership Down song? It is really freaky. It's a great poster, and I love this kind of 70s aesthetic there. But yeah, I do wonder now, Chris, am I being baited to watch something that's going to be awful?
I will give it a shot, but if I watch this and it ends up like my last experience with the TV glowing movie, I will be on this stream, and you will witness a 2-hour straight rant from myself, because I do not like getting hoodwinked.
See, here's the thing. I know Megan's a different type of movie, but it's about a doll that comes alive or whatever. I don't like those movies. The OG to me is, Chucky. And ever since then, they've tried to out-clever that simple concept. Like, now we got digital robots now we got sex robots. What next? Will we have robots that can fly or something next? What I mean? They'll just keep adding to the stupidity.
Another rant. So speaking of Chucky, there's the Chucky TV series. The scenes involving Chucky are awesome. But when and obviously it got canceled because I do not need an underage gay sex scene in my Chucky series. I'm not making that up. That happened.
I stopped watching after the 4th season because I could see where it was going straight away.
I know somebody online who's like a major activist for this Chucky TV show, and I did wonder why this person is a perfectly nice person. Got a lot of time for them, but I did wonder why they latched onto this show when all the other stuff that they watch is kind of
completely out of place. It goes through the whole series.
Gag,
it's
basically.
like and like every time it switches to the two underage males in their love story, the whole thing drags to a halt. And then when you get to the third season, like I'm watching, like they act, not only did they actually put this on screen, underage, let me remind you, underage
Jesus
sex scene in a Chucky TV series. So that rant over. So yeah, well,
they're all activists, though, Chris.
Yeah,
they're all activists.
Well,
the fact that we've come to a point now on television where we're showing underage gay couples, or whether it's lesbian or whatever, but underage and showing it on screen. Like that's why I tuned out of this show. They kissed for the first time, and I was like, no, I'm out. No, you can't do that. They're kids.
Yeah, it was just I'm okay. So I guess Ron Mancini, who created Chucky. Okay, so he's a gay man, so perfectly understandable. To include something of that nature in his show because that's his experience. But it goes so over the top. Like literally my jaw dropped when they showed that scene. I'm like, you're kidding me. I'm like, okay. In the show, they're like, I think like 15 at this point. And it's like, wow. So needless to say, Chucky got canceled after that.
Good.
Go work, go broke, and all that jazz. I mean, I like the idea. I like the idea of making scary movies about, and particularly sci-fi, sort of borderline dystopian, kind of Black Mirror style stuff about things that are set just that little bit into the future, that short distance into the future, nightmares that are kind of cautionary tales. I like that sort of stuff. I think men generally like that kind of storytelling particularly, but I do wonder, like with many things culturally, is it being weaponized against us? Because the things that scare us and the things that scare women are different. Women, it's like mice and spiders and broken taps and things like that.
I know that
and big piles of ironing. They just look at they look at something like that. It's like
I know that there's that new German series coming out on Netflix as well, which is about a female servant robot that
for God's sake
has a secret past, and the family that she's looking after gets quite murderous.
And they already really kind of addressed a lot of this stuff in the Westworld show a few years ago.
Oh, Westworld was awesome.
Yeah, the thing is with Westworld is that very few people saw it. A movie like this that they can picture different people on different terms, and I think this film could actually do really, really well, particularly through streaming rather than theatrically. I think the word could get around about this. A lot of people could enjoy it in a lot of different ways. I think that sci-fi fans could latch onto this. Horror fans could latch onto this. People who like Black Mirror could latch onto this. Yeah. And I think there are a lot of women who are going to get some sort of perverse satisfaction about it too.
Well, it's the same with like Westworld. When Westworld came out, when the first series came out, it was great. You cannot get it wrong. But when the second series came out, it was right on the cusp of this whole issue that we've got now.
Yep.
And it suddenly took a total nosedive. All of the actors behind the scenes came out as activists, and it just went downhill as soon as it all.
Evan Rachel Wood single-handedly killed that show.
Point of view.
Rabbi, sorry.
I went back and watched the show several times now, and season 1 and season 2 are fused as one unit. They are so no, they really are. It's okay. Season 1, you kind of get bamboozled by the interesting storytelling style, the dual storyline. But the whole thing is about the emergence of a new species and how it works, how it thinks, how it develops, and that's really the through line through season 1 and season 2. It's the birth of that new species. Season 3 is what happens when it gets into the real world, when it breaks out. And season 4, and again, it gets progressively better, right? The whole thing about neutering, what's the name? The Teddy, right? And that pissed so many people off. That is that is his story right from the beginning, that he was always neutered and then he became neutered again by the Dolores, essentially his girlfriend, right? And when he appears again back in season 4, let's say you see involvement with the characters again. Westworld.
It does seem like a show that you get out of it what you put in and then some.
Okay, Westworld's crime was this: it had all these woke tropes as the culture war started. So it attracted a lot of ire, and myself as well. I was totally bought into that narrative, right? It was only when I saw season 4 and I thought that was so extraordinarily good, I went back and watched it again. I thought I'll give it another chance, and I think it's because we were in unexpectedly in some kind of compacted mindscape, right? That we looked at it in a more negative light than is necessary. And again, the criticisms it was so built into season 1 what would happen in season 2, right? It's so it tightly connected. It's like Back to the Future 2 and 3, right? You know,
these are themes. These are themes that are recurrent in science fiction. You're quite right, and obviously sometimes they get expanded more than others. I remember this Guagnar's talking about it there in the live chat on YouTube. I remember this Outer Limits episode, Valerie 23, really, really well. And you're quite right. Yeah, the jealous companion android played out in 45 minutes. There, really enjoyable show. That I do miss the Outer Limits.
But the thing is, though, this is actually another trope because it's been done in so many series. Batman Beyond did an episode, and it's even similar because even Batman: The Adventures of Batman did one too. The animated series did a version of a robot gone awry, you know, and it's being created for a reason.
Once you have Megan Fox play a sex bot, you don't really need anybody else. Okay, I'm like, I don't need any other movie now. It's just the same thing. I'm just
this girl does seem
stuff now. I don't want to get too dirty in this, but we've got Rabbi, so it's okay. He can get dirty.
However dirty you get, he's going to get dirtier.
There's a lot of like people that like are OnlyFans and that, because I actually have friends who worked for them. And so what they did was that they were creating parts of themselves in like a silicon base and then selling it. So, that's just the beginning of what's happening, with this. That's just this is the future, of them actually creating these things, because they have things called real dolls, which have been around for like 20 years. And do you remember there's Lars in the real doll? Real doll?
Yeah,
that one.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So if you haven't seen that movie, you need to see it.
It's crazy.
And so, but this is like an advanced version of that.
I see.
Right, exactly.
Quick recap. This is Companion. It's directed by Drew Hancock, stars Sophie Thatcher, Jack Quaid and Rupert Friend. It's released on January the 31st, 2025. It sounds like it could be some people's cup of tea more than others. If you do see it with your other half, if she starts laughing at it, you can always get a woman back by taking her to the car wash. They don't like that much. So, yeah.
Okay, next movie that shouldn't be. It's a Netflix movie, right? Putting it in the cinema seems stupid. Who's going to go to the cinema to see that?
No, you're right.
Feminists.
That's what it is.
They don't even go and watch these movies.
Chris is right about this. They bait normal people into going to see these things, making it look like you're going to get a good time. You're going to get a few cheap thrills.
Do you remember a few years ago they had? Sorry, Chris. But
I was joking about the cheap.
Do you remember when there was a movie called Drive? Is it with Ryan Gosling? There was a
fantastic movie. Amazing film.
A lady went there because the trailer was totally different to the movie, and she actually sued the movie studio. I don't know if she won or what, but she was so mad. Well, it was it made it look like it was like a drive-in.
Can you imagine how skint Ryan Johnson would be if everybody sued him, who was disappointed with the film after the trailer?
But no, Dan, I got to say, going back to Westworld, there's many reasons to dislike it, but probably the biggest reason for me. So we all saw Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Evan Rachel Wood, the star of that show, what she did to Marilyn Manson is what Amber Heard did to Johnny Depp, magnified by about 10.
Oh.
Yeah, look, you definitely get the vibe from her. She's crazy. And that's actually part
well,
of
she did a documentary, which everybody else involved, including her quote accusers, have disavowed the whole thing. She actually just did another one for some reason. Paramount Plus released it just a couple months ago, repeating the whole thing. So that's why I can't watch, because I'm a Marilyn Manson fan. Yes, the guy is weird, but you have to kind of know that getting into a relationship with him. But what she was saying in this documentary was so just absurd. And everybody in there came out and said she just made this whole thing up. Then Paramount Plus just did a second documentary repeating the same thing that the first thing did. So that's why I can't watch it. I look at it, it's like, Amber Heard, no, not the worst case. Do some, there's a lot of YouTube videos about it. There's a YouTuber, her name is Colonel Kurtz. She actually covered this in detail. But no, like, look into it. This woman is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, well,
so
that's it.
I had heard something about that.
Does turn some people off. Great show. The show does do well. And you've got an activist actor or actress that are making accusations, or they're coming out and attacking fans for their opinion, saying, you know, this shouldn't be in the show or this shouldn't be in the movie. And they're coming out, well, you don't know what you're talking about. We're the ones that know what we're talking about. These people have forgotten that they're supposed to entertain us. And you're supposed to respect your customers. Respect your customers. Respect the fan bases.
That's but where they're living now is cuckoo land. Okay, like in so and I mean, I think that this whole thing now currently is actually opening their eyes a little bit to, we're not being saved with who we, we probably made all the wrong decisions. But the thing is, these writers and that are living there, and so because you've got to think, it's just not just actors; it's writers, directors, everything like that. So they're all going to be affected. I think that this is a turning point. I think things, everything seems to be just coming all at once. There's a big whirlwind, happening. So I think. I think this is gonna. It's things will be different in 6 months' time.
We could only hope.
Fingers
I
crossed.
hope so, but worst case
talking
scenario,
about
we
cloud,
have all the old stuff.
Talking about cloud cuckoo land, I think that's the perfect sort of segue into this next trailer. I also sent you the trailer for the film In the Lost Lands. This is an upcoming epic. This is how they describe it: epic fantasy film directed by Paul W.S. Anderson and from a screenplay by Anderson himself, based on a short story by George R.R. Martin. It stars Mila Jovovich, who I believe was or is married to Paul.
He wouldn't put his wife in that.
And Dave Bautista is also in this as well. Obviously, the actor, the wrestler turned actor, I suppose we have to say, he's been in some pretty good movies. I kind of like Dave Bautista. Can take Mila or leave her.
I've never heard of a Nepo wife before, but there you go.
Well, no. To clarify, he directed the Resident Evil movies, and they met on the first Resident Evil movie. So technically, it started as a professional relationship.
How many movies have they made since then?
14.
Well, the 6 Resident Evil movies, this one, and then there was another one.
Monster?
Yeah, that's
the Monster one.
Yeah. The premise to this one is that a witch travels to the Lost Lands in search of a magical power that allows a person, just any person, to transform into a werewolf. So it's pretty thin stuff. The trailer looks.
Are you sure this isn't directed by Yui Boll?
The trailer looks unreservedly awful and old-fashioned as well. I think we all had a good laugh looking at this one. Matt, did you see it?
This is before David Bautista lost all his weight. Have you seen him recently?
I know he's leaned down quite a lot.
He's a very skinny man now. So Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this looks like it just looks like
it just means he's come off the gear. That's all. Former wrestler comes off the gear.
It looks awful. Like it looks.
That's all that's happened.
This looks like Dan. So and full disclosure, everybody knows this. I love the Resident Evil movies. I know they're garbage, but they're my guilty pleasure, and I love all 6 of them. So the confession there. The monster movie was terrible. This looks like dog shit. Sorry for the bad language. This looks like it. Even the CG looks like it's a mid-budget CG movie from 2002. No, bad.
I don't know. I enjoyed this trailer.
What did you
actually? So did
what did you latch? What did you latch on? Well, no. What did you latch onto about it?
I just like the whole premise of the trailer. I thought it was pretty cool. It gave me vibes of a Mad Max sort of going into kind of magic universe. I actually liked that trailer. I thought it was very well put together. I thought the action sequences were great as well. I thought the narration was great. This was my favorite trailer of the trailers that you sent me. I actually find this one quite interesting. Now, Chris could be right; could end up being a pile of crap, but I actually enjoyed that trailer.
I agree with you, though. I'm telling you, to me, it seemed like an adaptation of a good 2000 AD script, right?
The problem is it's post-apocalyptic.
What's that?
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's post-apocalyptic, but there's nothing new in this that I haven't seen before.
No, it's very derivative. I agree.
That's what I couldn't get past.
Yeah.
I can't even remember the name of it. It was the direct-to-video movie with 2 giant robots, like Japanese anime robots.
Was it called Robot Overlord? Oh no, could have been Robot Jocks. Yeah.
That maybe. I just had these 2 very, very hot chicks in it, who were robot hookers, maybe, or they were hookers running from the.
Please try to remember which movie that was.
I'm just trying to think. With robot ducks have.
I think they were real hookers, and they were getting away from the robot hookers that were too good.
This gets better.
And they found refuge in the station where there was this beat-up old mecha suit thing, mecha robot. They end up having to fight another one, as I recall.
This sounds like a porno film.
Do you remember that movie, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer? It gave me that vibes as well, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer vibes, and I actually like that movie. So this is the type of movie that I actually am into, is these type of movies. So I will give this a go. I think this will be good. I think the trailer was actually pretty impressive. Maybe my standards have dropped, but I actually did enjoy that trailer. It was the best trailer you sent me anyway.
I don't know why you guys hated it.
Rabbi, I will say this. I will watch it, probably not in the theater, but I will watch it because, I'm not I'm admitting I could be wrong. It could be a good movie. Just for me, like what Dan was saying, derivative and just the effects.
I have a funny feeling this is Amazon Prime Video on the way.
Might be right,
probably. Exactly. It's gonna be when they say it in cinemas 2 weeks later. It's
the release date.
Look at Red One. Look at Red One.
Red One. Shit in the cinemas. I loved it on TV.
My sister wanted to go and see it, and I said, no. Wait until it'll literally be on Amazon.
Yes, it's a Christmas
within
film.
2 weeks. It was there.
Well, the thing with Red One was it was never intended to be a theatrical film.
No.
From what I gather, they spent so much money on it. They decided to do a limited theatrical run to at least make some of the money back, which
why, Chris?
Well, that was a mistake.
It was part
of the strategy. Is it a good movie? Because
it was good as a free movie on streaming. I'm not going to cinema to see it.
Right.
I loved it. That was free.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I'm not going to put it as there.
Well, you could literally see with the trailer. You were like, "This is a streaming movie." It's just
we're not selling this film very well. Stephen Braddock says it sounds awful there.
Well, I don't know. I think people are being harsh on this trailer. To be quite honest with you, I have to stick up for it because I like these. I know that these things have been done before. You're absolutely right. But if this does exactly what it says in the trailer and it entertains. We've been crying out for entertaining films. You don't have to be brain bust. You know what I mean? You don't have to be brain busting.
You know what? You know what? No, you're quite in many ways. You're quite right. We said earlier on we looked at the companion and we were speculating. I think a lot of us like the look of that, but we're very wary of the fact we may not get what it's being advertised as. Here, I think we would absolutely get everything that this film is making itself out to be. There are no pretenses about it, and so I can respect that. I can.
It's just, see, Mila Jovovich doesn't really have any range.
No.
She started to,
True.
but now she's doing movies where she's playing a witch. Like she played a witch in Hellboy.
Right.
So it just looks all the same character, and it just doesn't.
This is a movie that you certainly got to get extremely high to enjoy. I'm not denying that. But I'm saying, if you do that, you're going to have a great freaking time.
Well, no, Rabbi, even without getting high, this is like, sometimes I'm in the mood where I just want to watch schlock. And I don't care. I want to turn my brain off. So this is one of those.
Yeah.
So I'd have to be in a very specific mood to watch this.
That's what I mean. And we miss. And listen, they used to do movies like that in the 80s. Ones where you didn't have to use your brain. So, like, I don't mind if they continue to make those movies and you make them entertaining. I mean, he's not the greatest actor in the world either. Like, let's be honest. But it'll probably be an entertaining movie, and we've been screaming out. If there's no agenda in this and no pushing of shite, and it does exactly what it says, well, then it's done its job.
Obviously, we can't help you. If you want to get loaded and watch this, you're going to have to sort that out for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And where it's legal as well.
It is out on the 28th of February, 2025 in the US. Dates to come in Britain. We're going to wait and find out when we're going to get it there. That's in the Lost Lands. Next up, yes, we mentioned him earlier on. The final one of the three that we're going to look at. We've got a poster and a trailer for this new film. You mentioned the director David Ayer earlier on. We talked a little bit about the Suicide Squad movie, the first Suicide Squad film from way back in 2017. The same director who made that also has made a working man, and this stars Jason Statham as the titular working man. There in his lumberjack shirt and his double denim. He looks really mean. He looks very, very bald, very, very mean. He's very tasty with his fists. He's very cockney. All that jazz. This is coming on March the 28th. And
talking about Zach playing the same.
It's basically Jason Statham playing Jason Statham in every fucking movie. It's the same kind of trope. He's not even like some actors like branch out a little bit. This fella is stuck in a loophole since the end. Leave it out, man. Working man now.
To work for him, though.
Right? Jason Statham always plays hard nuts that does good.
This one, he's a beekeeper.
Come on,
Matt.
You know
apparently.
what I mean? Like, but I know he's an action hero fella now. He's one of the action
he's an action hero. Well, he's actually undercover.
Well, get him in decent fucking movies for God's sake.
Undercover beekeeper.
Listen, this is Jason Statham.
Rabbi.
It looks so much fun.
He goes to work one day and he ends up having to kick the shit out of gangsters. I mean, come on, Jesus Christ.
This is what I'll say.
That's what happens in this film.
In real life, if you did that, if you kicked off like that at work, you'd be straight in HR, no questions asked. You wouldn't work for the rest of the month. But this is this one, the Working Man. It's from the same team who made that film, The Beekeeper, that you were just talking about, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, I mean, it's a Jason Statham movie, so you're going to be highly entertained again. Let's be honest.
Well, do you know what?
I'm just getting tired of the trope that he's doing now. He needs to do something different.
To enjoy this movie, you need 2 cans of 4X and a doner kebab, right? And 11 at night. That's how you watch this movie, and you'll have a great time.
I got extremely depressed by a TV series last year, and it was so bad after watching an episode that I thought, I need something to cleanse my palate. So I watched Meg 2. Now, it's the worst film in the world. But my God, it was it just cleansed. It just what I needed, you know.
I love the first one. That's the only Jason Statham movie that I can come out and say 100% that I love everything about the Meg.
Yeah, I like the Transporter.
Second one, the second one was a shit show, right? But I agree with you, Matt. It was so bad, it was funny and entertaining. So I could take that, and I did love Crank. The first one.
First Crank film was amazing. Yeah.
You
know what? I hadn't heard of this movie until today, any of these movies until I watched them. And this is the one of the three that I would actually be most up to seeing. I mean, clearly it's like a Taken clone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the plot is Taken. But I mean, 2 hours of watching Jason Statham, you know, kick the crap out of these scumbags, you know, I'll watch that.
Well, here's what I'll say.
It's clearly the most normie movie.
Well, no, this does not have the problem that the previous two films had. We don't quite know what we're going to get with the other two. I can appreciate this one because you know exactly what you're going to get. It's going to be Jason Statham kicking the crap out of people for 2 hours. You're you just turn your brain off and then you just enjoy it. So I'm like, this again, I'd have to be in a certain mood to. This would be after watching that British science fiction show I hate mentioning by name. This is like something I'd want to watch after spending 12 hours reviewing one of those. I want to watch people get the crap kicked out of them for 2 hours.
Right.
So this is.
I mean, I'll watch it. I think I will watch it. But I mean, it's just the same thing. But you are right. There is something entertaining watching Jason kick the shit out of people. I don't know what it is. He does it so well.
I agree with everything. I agree with everything that you both have just said about this. The only thing that put me off about the trailer is that it was nearly 3 minutes long, and I feel like it was the edited highlights of the entire film. It was just that bit too much.
Well, Dan, you're not looking at this for the plot. You know exactly what the plot's.
I suppose not.
So it's like
this is actually. Yeah, sorry. If Dan, this is actually written by comic book writers. Just to let you know.
Oh, okay.
Really?
This be interesting.
I'll find out who it was. I can't remember at the moment on the top of my head. But
It is like a comic book drawn by Jock.
Statham, yeah. Statham does seem to move from series to series.
It's Chuck Dixon. Wow.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Oh, that just went up my estimation then.
Yeah, Chuck Dixon, who wrote.
This really went up.
He did Robin for all those, or Nightwing all those years, and Robin.
Right.
He's a great writer.
Oh, Tim
Pretty
Drake
much created Tim Drake. Yeah. This is
Bane.
This is just
Bane.
This has just gone up a notch in my interest.
Okay, I take back what I said then. All right, yeah, we have to take back.
Also,
what I said
IMDb has Sylvester Stallone as one of the writers.
Wow.
Yeah, I know he's involved in it somehow.
Well, he knows
how old is Jason Statham at this point? I suspect he's probably pushing 60. I think he's getting up there. He's older than we think.
I shall Google's that right now. I'm
57.
So I'll tell you exactly
57.
57.
Which, Matt, was that around the same age that Liam Neeson was when he first started playing the dad with the gun characters?
Oh
no, I think he was younger. That was only a couple years after he did.
Okay, Dan. There was a Expendables.
Well, he's 72.
It was an Indiegogo campaign for a comic book. That was the Expendables in Hell. That was written by Chuck Dixon.
Right.
It was done by Comicscape.
Of course, there was.
Your boy Zach, right? And Sylvester Stallone was involved in that as well. Obviously,
he starred in the first Taken when he was 56 years old.
Yeah, it was 2008. So
he's Jason Statham is 1 year older than what?
So
I mean, to be fair,
Stallone's involved. It's Chuck Dixon.
Yeah,
this clearly came from that project.
I mean, but to be fair about Jason Statham's age, I mean, give any of us on the panel a big sledgehammer, we're going to get a couple of good licks in before we're.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I think he's entered that phase in his career.
Yeah,
Dads with guns.
I'd love to see a Die Hard with him in it.
Yeah.
It'd be deadly to see those two in a movie together, Liam and Jason, actually.
And doesn't he play either Hobbs and Shaw in the silly Fast and Furious films? I kind of like those as well.
I've never seen any of them.
Oh, they're great.
I gave up after the third movie. After the third movie, I gave up.
They start getting really good after that. They start getting far better after that. Now, Jason Statham.
Don't they?
What's that? Sorry.
They go to the moon in one, don't they? On the
I don't know.
Oh,
I haven't seen the last couple.
I think they do.
Jason Statham is a curious character. You either like him or you don't. You either get it or you don't.
He was a swimmer. He was a diver. Did you just know that? He used to do diving for the British. Yeah, he used to be in those little shorts and stuff and jump into water.
You know, every time I see Jason Statham, I think it's a real shame that was never a good remake of The Lady Killers, which he would have been great in.
Oh, yeah,
they did remake that with Tom Hanks, didn't they?
Tom Hanks.
Yeah, no, I wanted a bunch of London gangsters.
Wasn't that the Coen brothers that did the remake of The Lady Killers? Wasn't
I
it?
don't know why,
that
but
was
he's pretty good. He's pretty good with scrubbing brushes. That's all I know.
Yeah. I didn't like the remake.
He's really good in Transporter. He's running around on a scrubbing brush. If you've seen that.
Okay, so these are 3 trailers that are currently out on YouTube, I think, in the last week or so, maybe the last 2 or 3 days, that people have been talking about across social media. That's A Working Man starring Jason Statham in The Lost Lands with Dave Bautista and Mila Jovovich thingy, and A Companion there starring Sophie Thatcher and and Jake Quaid. Yes,
I just realised that Amazon is also one of the things for the working man, so it'll be on Amazon pretty soon.
Exactly.
So you won't have to wait too long. You won't have to wait too long to stream
why
any of these.
Why does the font look a bit like Stephen King sort of thing going on there? Working Man. It's really.
I thought it looks kind of like a comic cover. You know, the way that the graphics sometimes.
Oh,
yeah, you're right. Actually.
Hey, remember when they did Red?
Yeah.
Very similar to that. I reckon he could continue on with the Red series.
Yeah.
Take Bruce Willis's role.
That's actually who it was originally. Like,
I'm amazed they've never turned that into a TV show. Red. I think that could run for years and years and years.
Yeah.
But,
I've got the original comics. They're pretty cool.
Sad about Bruce Willis, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really sad. Yeah, I mean, going off on an aside about that, as sad as it is, I also do find it quite wholesome when I see film of him enjoying retirement with his family, with his extended family. I think it's how families should be. I think it sends a really positive message, because that family could just completely lock down about this, because what he's going through is really cruel. But they're kind of living it all relatively semi-publicly, and I think it could take a lot of stigma away.
It's really humanized. It's really humanized him. I found. I mean, I have a lot of empathy for them too. For you guys know the reason, but I have a lot of empathy for him and his family. So, it's
I think he's a great actor. I really do.
Yeah, so do I. I miss him. Noel, I miss him already. And he's still very much with us. But I miss him.
The thing is, though, the best thing was, even though they tried to make him into a joke because he was making so many films.
We all noticed, didn't we?
That were bad. Yeah, but the thing was, though, when people were calling him out on it and that, they've been the ones that have been made to look bad, not him. So I'm kind of glad that way. So
he was doing those movies to provide for his family before he went too far.
Right.
And that's why in a lot of the roles that he did in those B movies, he wasn't really talking that much in them. He didn't have much dialogue in them.
He couldn't. By the time he was doing them, he couldn't memorize the lines, or because of his disease.
Well, he had an earpiece.
Really put words together.
Yeah.
And they called him out on it, but now we know why, and they're the ones that look like the villains. But
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's just really sad.
Yeah,
so
it is.
12 Monkeys is great, Leah. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because I felt that, that when he was going back to doing these M. Night Shyamalan movies, I was like, oh no, you're going to ruin a classic Unbreakable. And that's what ended up happening.
It's great.
It's supposed to be great.
Aaron Tallis really has a great. I'm looking forward to the Vision show just because of him.
So, mate, it's the only thing I'm going to go back to Marvel for, purely for the involvement of Terry Metalis. And I like the guy who plays the Vision. I like Paul Bettany. I think he's great. So, in all fairness, I think he's a class act. And whilst they've got him, they've kind of got me if he's going to be leading that. John Jordan says that Working Man is also written by Stallone. Count me in. Yeah, I think Stallone is still a pretty decent writer. So, yeah. I'm down for that. I'm down. I'm certainly down to see Companion and A Working Man. And you know what? You guys have actually sold me. Your enthusiasm has sold me for In the Lost Lands. Probably will watch this as well. And so if we watch them, we'll get back to you on this show and tell you whether they were exactly what we thought we were going to get. And if you do the same, it'll work out really, really nicely for all of us then, won't it? So
with your reviews of them too. I'll be happy.
I will say
several mentions of Dark Tower in the live chat there, Noel. I've not seen that one.
Oh God, what a mess.
What? The Christmas special? Haven't watched that either.
No, Dark Tower.
I haven't seen that.
Idris Elba, somebody like that.
Oh, it's awful.
They try to fit like 6 books into like an hour and a half movie. It is a dumpster fire. Like it is. It's unintelligible. It's awful.
So it should have been a trilogy or something, but they did one movie.
Why did they do that as a prestige TV show for streaming? I mean, that's like that would.
Well, they were going to, Rabbi. They were going to, if you remember. They were going to do the Dark Tower as a series.
I don't know. Amazon just need their heads examined. That woman sold.
Is the I Am Legend 2 movie going ahead? Is that movie still going ahead? I Am Legend.
It was supposed to be, and then Will Smith slapped that fella at the Oscars, and it all went up the pictures, didn't it?
Yeah.
But I know he's done a few movies since then. There's rumors talking up about it again. Well, so I'm just wondering if there's any new news on that.
Last time it's been mentioned was in May last year. So
he got Will Smith has been uncanceled. The latest Bad Boys movie made more money than God. So he's fine now. I don't want to. I'm not looking forward to I Am Legend 2 if it does come out because I've only ever been able to watch the first movie once because of that scene with the dog.
The Vincent Price version is multiple times better.
Yeah.
Agreed. Although the alternate ending, which is more like the book, in the Will Smith is really good as well.
Well, that's the one they're going with.
It's the one that they used though. The alternate version was the one where he actually lives.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. The alternate version is the one they went with.
Don't forget the Omega Man.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Heston. I like it when he's shooting him from his house.
I like the OG.
You just want to do it, He's like.
Let us know what you think of these three movies. If you go and watch the trailers, let us know whether they pique your interest or not. What do you think about our conversation so far?
Looking at the poster for The Lost Lands. The poster now looks a bit naff, I have to say. Looking at that poster is very naff.
You think it's the skulls that it might be overdoing it a little?
Well, it's his pose as well. It's not helping the situation, but yeah, it looks a bit naff now looking at that poster.
I like it. I'm sorry.
I don't know if you guys are well known with the Asylum movies. It looks like an Asylum movie.
Right.
Yes, I know exactly. It's a bit of an asylum here on this edition of the show, but that's very much how we like it. And you can throw your comments in the ring as well there in the comment section. We'll get back at you as well. Get back at you. We'll get back to you, not back at you. You might want to get back at us when you watch these films and find out how bad they are on a scale of 1 to 10. Let us know there.
We'll probably all need therapy after them. We'll need therapy after. We'll watch Companion first. We'll be absolutely bloody terrified.
Watch their favourite programs. But then again, there are those who have seen the light and will only use TDK's famous Super Avalon cassettes. Whether it's films, drama, or sport, Nothing captures those memorable moments with greater clarity, color, or more stunning reality than Super Avalon videotape from TDK. The great name in tape cassettes.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Yes, we're back. We're back after our multi-screen look there at several select trailers for forthcoming attractions. We've been tantalised and we've had a few laughs. You laughs as well, right? We said had a few laughs. Thank you, everybody, for your company on this edition of the show. We've been all over the map, haven't we? Throughout the decades. Yes, mate.
Was that, to go back to that advertisement, was that Michael Horden doing the voiceover, the narration for that?
Sounded like
I
didn't
have.
it?
Pink Panther? It did sound like him.
Possibly. He was still alive then. He died in the mid to late 80s, didn't he? So it's possible.
Okay.
The late, great Sir Michael Horden. Could be. We'll have to find out. I'll try and find
I'm
out for you for
watching
the next
Paddington
time.
Bear at the moment, so.
Yeah. Oh, fabulous stuff. What a show. What a conversation. Some fabulous trailers, some geeking out over the present and the past as we are want to do here at the Spacebook Live, all in the company of you there on YouTube and Rumble. Thank you for the comments, for getting stuck in here with us. Obviously, our thoughts are with people on the West Coast of America that are going through such upheaval at the moment. Our thoughts are also with Frank, Chris. We understand that he's going through a really difficult time. And,
well, yes. Well, we'll see what happens next week.
Next time,
But for the meantime, we have Officer McMeany responsible for arresting Frank after his caper. So, he's also kept an eye on you and all of you. And reports.
He's watching. He's watching. He's watching.
Reports are about to be made.
Oh God! Well, thank you for your company. And obviously, Frank, our thoughts are very much with you. Chris, your latest video is still surging, isn't it? People are still talking about it, and if people want more, or they want to watch or listen all over again, remind them where they can go and where they can find you on social media.
Hello, y'all. Yes. So on the X, I got my 2 accounts. So Cultivated Media, where I discuss horror movies and fun things, and Bulls Trek, which solely exists to irritate the right people, and boy does it ever. And then my my YouTube channel at Bulls Trek, which occasionally I will upload things, and it also makes the right people mad. And the more it makes them mad, the happier it makes me, because I'm a sick, twisted individual. I'm also apparently utterly insane, which is the latest subject of conversation. So you can find me on YouTube at Bulls Trek, and you can watch almost 18 years worth of me, about 10 years of me being happy, and 7 years of me yelling at the top of my lungs. So there you go.
He's absolutely got the power. Everybody, you better believe it. But yeah, you come here and we have fun. What don't we have fun? You can reach out to your inner child here at the Spacebook. It's always a pleasure to have you back on the show, Chris. Noel, brilliant to have you on as well. Your first time here on the sort of the revamped version of the show. So yeah, it's been great to have you back. You're all over the place at the moment. You're doing a lot of things. You're doing some sterling work, I know, politically. Where can people follow you for your activities? The geeky stuff, the political stuff. Where do you want to send people?
You can find me on YouTube under the Tarda Zone. So I've gone back to the original Brandon, because it was originally the Noel Zone, but then I said that's fucking stupid. I'll go back to the original Brandon. So I was back to the Tarda Zone. Also, you can find me on YouTube on the Irish Zone. Get it off your chest if you're interested in politics. Now, if you're not, no, you don't have to come anywhere near the channel. But if you are interested in politics, that's where we discuss politics. And my ex account is not really geeky anymore. It's mostly just full with Irish politics now. So if you want to follow me there, it's the Irish Zone there on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it nowadays. But thanks for having me on. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's been great to have you back on, mate. Always good to catch up. And the TARDIS Zone Talks is back too, I noticed as well. So yeah, get following Noel.
That caused controversy. I haven't streamed in a long time. I come back for a stream and I've caused all sort of controversy.
it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be you. It wouldn't be you if you hadn't. This is why
I didn't even know. It wasn't even me this time. That's the thing. It wasn't even me this time.
This is why when you speak, people do tend to listen. It's great to have you back on. No, good to see you, mate. And we'll get you back on in the near future. Matt, heaven knows what time it is for you there, mate. I always lose track.
It's after 9 o'clock, but I tell you what, we're in the middle of summer, and we've had 3 days of non-stop heat. And
really?
I've been waiting for this show to finish so I can pop my fan back on.
Do you want to swap the weather then? Do you want to swap the weather?
Freaking cold here, pal.
The heat now. It's because I'm like, I'm dying.
Matt, I will trade you in a second. It was like minus 30 here for like 6 days straight. So yeah,
I know everybody.
You come here.
We've had yesterday. We had nearly like a 30-degree heat wave, and it was just it was so terrible. And we're gonna have the same today. Then a thunderstorm. So
yeah, you want to go out and play, don't you? Go out and play. You don't want to sit in.
Yeah.
You want to go out and play.
Yeah. So, anyway, you can find me on my channel, Matt Pot, where I talk about Blu-rays and DVDs and things that make me happy.
Things that go bump in the night. Cat impersonations. A cute dog companion who's not made of tin. He's a conventional dog with fur and stuff.
He's gone out for a pee.
There you go. Bit of everything there. Follow Matt Pot. Follow Matt Pot everywhere. Rabbi, you're still with us. You've not been stretched off, mate, at half time. We've still got you. How you feeling?
I keep it to myself.
How you feeling, pal? How you feeling?
I'm about to fall asleep. You can find me on X at Lebetkin and on YouTube at Rabbi from Another Planet. On Rumble, I'm Rabbi on Rumble, I think. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you'll find me in all of the above and also covered in my own filth.
I know you were live streaming this evening. I'll catch up on your Saturday show probably tomorrow.
Physically and metaphorically. That's what's really going on, baby.
Oh, no one sells himself quite like the Rabbi does, do they?
just never change,
I'll send you some incontinence pads.
Oh, Gary, what are we going to do with them all? Can you save us from this insanity? How are you going to spend the rest of your weekend?
I can send him some too.
Yeah, please do. I'll give you the address after the show. No, I'm.
You need them for gaming.
One thing I don't do, gaming. No, I love being on with everybody. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me with my compatriot John Yulden on the Sci-Fi Chronicles channel, and you can always find me hip deep in the live chat on Type 40.
There you go. Lots of places you can get more of the retro doc himself, Mr. Gary Akers. John Yulden is in the live chat, so he's still up as well. I'm happy to say this has been the Spacebook live streaming to you on January the 11th, 2025. In the future, we are. It's the 12th. It's the 12th.
Dan, I do want to say before we go that I just noticed that you did it. Dempsey and Makepeace is now trending on X. So props to you, Dan.
My work here is done. And you can catch me over on X as the Spacebook, where I'm wheezing and groaning and ranting and raving about all things geeky and movies, TV, comic books, and little bits of politics here and there, and now and again, real life too. So yeah, that seemed like a good idea at the time. Follow me if you want to connect there on X, and I'm going to try and come back to Instagram, but I can't be bothered. So for the time being. For the time being, it's just X. Come and tell me how much you did or didn't enjoy the show. Yeah, we can stare one another right in the face there. What a show. I think the astronaut agrees. He's still with us. Yes. So thank you, everybody, for this one. It's been a belter. Let us know what you think of the trailers, the posters, of all that stuff we're going to get over the next couple of months, and our blasts down the nostalgia vortex there too with Dempsey and Makepeace. And that fabulous, disturbing public service announcement, and all the other subjects that we covered on this edition of the show.
Send you some Australian ones if you like, Dan.
please. Hey, it's gonna. This is a global thing.
You think that they're bad?
Actually, I'll pick up some of the Irish ones as well. Actually, for you.
Chris is going to get some payback in time, and all. That's how it's going to work.
Because I tell you, they're horrific, man. They're horrific. They traumatized us as kids.
One way or another, we're just getting started. So yeah, we'll see you out there somewhere next time. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye. Take care. See you in the comments.